Good evening, all of you. So, as part of our mentorship session, today we are going to start a very important current affairs session, that is the science and technology session. So, let me introduce you about the program. See, we have started the mentorship program. This program will continue for 1 year. Okay, the importance of this program is people can choose their respective modules, and the time period of each module is for 2 months or 2 to 3 months. All right, the economy module has almost started. Economy module has almost started. So we are done with one answer writing session of economy module. You can go through that economic module from the YouTube channel. And in this economy model, I'm going to cover the prelims. I'm going to cover the mains. Okay. Along with this, I'll be conducting you pre and mains test series. With this, I'll also be giving you mentorship. So this I have already declared. Okay, so with this I'll also be giving you mentorship, and you can find the rest of the details in the documents and which has been exposed, and you can also call on to the number which I have already shared in the group. This is one important point. Next important point is answer writing sessions. Answer writing sessions we are going to conduct it regularly. So answer writing sessions are very, very important, where in every session I am going to give one question. Okay, this question we will be discussing in the live. Okay, another question will be an assessment. Okay, an assignment will be given to you which you can submit it. Okay, as we are streamlining things because the number of candidates has crossed almost more than the target, so it has gone to nearly 3 digits or even crossed 3 digits. So to sustain those many, it's quite difficult. Okay, so but still, based on the request, we are enrolling them. And remember, this is a very important program which will enrich your prelims and mains, which will definitely help you to clear your prelims as well as your mains. Okay, so today the session will be taken by uh, our science and technology faculty. Okay, Mr. Janardhan. Okay, so Janardhan sir has got a very good experience in okay, Janardhan sir has got a very good experience in science and technology, the subjects like science and technology, etc. So what you can do is you can similarly can take the sessions from the Janardhan sir, and in the live session, sir is going to teach you about the one question, and in the other assignment he's going to give you one more question which you can answer, and you can similarly process for what we have done for economy, you can do it for this question also. So make sure that you avail to make use of this session to the maximum. Okay, and we are here to guide you so that you can make use of this session 100%. So avail this opportunity of rectifying your mistakes, because exams are very near, mains are very near. Okay, and make sure that UPSC or APPSC or TSPSC, make sure that you will definitely find a benefit of this. Okay, so I'll be handing over this session to the Janardhan sir, and he will take care of it.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to first session of Science and Technology Current Affairs. Today we are going to do some basics which are in the news. So let's start as we were told in this module. I'll just share the screen, just a minute. Yeah. I hope that it's visible. Yeah. As told before, we are going to do these topics. Why electrical vehicles are catching fire. See, recently, especially in the summer of this year, many electrical vehicles are catching fire, and unfortunately, there are some deaths also related to it. So why this is happening, that is one small topic that we will do later. And the most important topic is antibiotic resistance. So what are Bahubali bugs? Basically, they are super bugs. I just wrote it like that in order to catch you. Fine. So we will do these two topics. We'll start first with antibiotic resistance. See, antibiotics, what are antibiotics? As the name says, if you look at antibiotic, antibiotic. What are antibiotics? Biotics generally we refer to bacteria. So antibiotics are medicines which are used against bacteria in order to limit the effect of bacteria on human body, or it can be on animals also. So in order to limit the impact of bacteria, we use antibiotics as medicines. But what is happening in recent times is, yes, just a minute. Yeah. However, stronger antibiotics we are developing, the science has advanced a lot. However strong antibiotics we are developing, the bacteria is developing resistance to it. So this resistance per se is referring to bacteria being resistant to the medicines. We are using medicines to kill the bacteria, but bacteria is not dying. It has developed resistance, means it is able to survive in spite of applications of those powerful medicines. So the general term is antibiotic resistance, but why not only bacteria? There are many other kind of pathogens, fungal infections, viral. So all these things also developing these, not only bacteria. So the general term we use is antimicrobial resistance. Antibiotics are used very frequently, so antibiotic resistance is a common term used. But this kind of resistance can be developed by other pathogens also. So as I said, what are antibiotics? These are medicines which are used for. Now these medicines are developing and unable to develop and meet the needs of the things. Now, why such phenomena occurs? That is the main thing. Why antibiotic resistance is getting developed? Antimicrobial resistance or antibacterial resistance. See, what is happening is, if you look at, suppose this is a lab dish on which there are varieties of bacteria. On this bacteria, this is assumption for you to understand. On this bacteria dish, all these dots are bacteria. I applied a antibiotic A. This antibiotic, this is the first antibiotic on this bacteria in order to kill this bacteria. Let us say that this bacteria is E. coli bacteria. Okay. So once I apply this antibiotic A, which is used as a medicine against this E. coli, most of the bacteria will die. Most of them will die. Only few may remain, because it's not that every bacteria will be able to completely finish off with that antibiotic. Few will show resistance. They try to live. See, it's also life. So it will, few amount of bacteria will try to live. But what happens after this, when they were able to survive this application of A, when this bacteria are surviving, they will replicate. This bacteria which are surviving the first application of antibiotic A, they will multiply. So in second application of same medicine A, more amount of the same bacteria will survive now. More people will survive. In the first instance, only few survived. In the second instance or multiple instance like that, after application of multiple things, more number of bacteria are surviving. A stage will come where upon application of The same antibiotic A, see A all refers to A here refers to antibiotic, antibiotic, antibiotic. However, you must apply the antibiotic A, this E. coli bacteria is not going to die. It is surviving. So then we are going to say that E. coli has developed resistance against this medicine, particular medicine A. So antibiotic resistance or antimicrobial resistance depends on a particular medicine. So E. coli has now developed a resistance against this medicine A. Now what we do? How much of A apply? The bacteria is not dying. This E. coli infection is occurring in human beings also. Generally, before COVID, when this Pani Puri centers were abundant, this E. coli bacteria is abundantly available at Pani Puri centers. So once in a while, people used to get this E. coli infections. During surgeries also, E. coli infections is there. This E. coli infection is common actually. So what happens when E. coli has developed resistance? However, antibiotics, powerful antibiotics you are using, it is not dying. So what the science will do? It will try to develop another medicine B, another antibiotic to be specific, to work against this E. coli bacteria. The same cycle repeats. The same cycle repeats now. In first case, A, E. coli bacteria, A was a medicine, it became ineffective. Then you start using another medicine B, it is again becoming inactive after few iterations. See, these iterations may not be once or twice. It can be depending on the type of the medicine and type of the pathogen we are dealing with. So we develop another medicine B, again the same phenomenon repeats. After few applications of B, repeated applications of B, again this E. coli bacteria is turning into resistance against this particular medicine B. Then after a few years, B also not suitable to kill that. Now this infection goes on. This is a lab dish in which bacteria is there. The same thing you apply in human body also. This bacteria affected human body, you are taking medicines, you are unable to get cure. So it can lead to dangerous consequences also. See, first antibiotic specifically was discovered, penicillin was discovered around 1930s. In less than 100 years, we are at a situation where the existing antibiotics are not working against the pathogens present. So a kind of superbugs are getting created. The same thing is becoming much more powerful, and new varieties are also coming into the picture. So why such phenomena is happening now? That is the question. Why? See, this nature will try to, every organism in the nature will try to survive. That's fine. But still, when we are having medicines, when we want to protect ourselves, still the nature is working very fast against it and it is surviving. The pathogens are surviving in its own manner. Why such things are happening? Why there is emergence of antimicrobial resistance or antibiotic resistance is the question which we have to understand. Now, if you look at, this was the thing which I described, how antibiotic resistance happens. So you put a medicine A, only only few things which will be resistance. Then slowly those only things will become dominant and they will induce others also to be resistant to this particular medicine A. Then B comes, then C comes. A stage will comes where there is no medicine at all, no medicine. So if you let us take the example of TB, TB just 50 years back, if the TB disease comes, it is completely uncontrollable. There's no perfect cure for it. It is highly dangerous. People used to run away, like last year or the year before, we ran away from COVID patients. TB means they used to run away. Now it is curable because we got antibiotics. But unfortunately, antibiotic resistance is coming in TB. We have medicines that is not working on TB. Same cycle is repeating, unfortunately. So that is a danger. This can come in any disease, unfortunately, any communicable disease, not only TB. Many viral infections, many bacterial infections are going in this direction. So in the next 30, 40 years, we are in a very big danger where a simple cut on your finger, if you cut, if there is an opening on your finger or there is surgery, many bacteria will enter our human system. And if they are resistant, a simple cut can be dangerous. So that is the danger posed by antibiotic resistance. That's the reason a lot of significance is given on this phenomena. Now, as I said, why not only with antibiotics? Antimicrobial resistance is the general things where bacteria, fungi, virus, parasites are all turning into resistance. Okay, that is the important point. Now, look at the danger posed by AMR. Antimicrobial resistance, look at the way in which it is affecting us. Someone is marking here. Yeah. AMR is so dangerous, it is killing more people than being affected by cancer or road traffic accidents. 7 lakh people are losing the battle of antimicrobial resistance. So by 2050, this AMR is going to become a major type of disease facing the humanity. So it is quite important to focus on the causes for this phenomena. India has its own special concerns. Yes or no? So we have a double burden phenomena. The phenomena of double burden means generally when a country develops, the shift will happen from communicable diseases to non-communicable diseases. Non-communicable diseases. Okay, generally the shift will happen from communicable diseases to non-communicable diseases. Communicable diseases, infectious diseases. So when a country develops, the majority of the disease pattern will shift from, like at the time of India's independence, majority of the disease burden for the country is communicable diseases. Okay, infectious diseases. But as we grow, the shift has to happen to non-communicable diseases like cancer, asthma, pollution-based things, obesity, all these things. But in India, we have, unfortunately, both communicable diseases are there and non-communicable diseases are there, which is called as double burden. Right? Double burden is facing India with respect to health sector. Now, already this is there. Already we have both. Now, these communicable diseases are becoming more dangerous through antibiotic or antimicrobial resistance, which is posing a very great challenge. Now, if you look at why this antimicrobial resistance is happening, what are the causes for this antimicrobial resistance? If you look at some of the important causes highlighted here are overprescription of antibiotics. Nowadays, everybody is a doctor with Google. Right or no? Any simple thing, whether to use it or not, people are using the medications on their own. Self-medication is one of the reasons for development of antimicrobial resistance. Over-the-counter sale of drugs. Another is over-the-counter sale of drugs. Means you directly go to the medical shop and you take the medicines as advised by the person, in the medical shop person. So they are not actually practicing doctors, right? So they may not diagnose from your symptoms directly. So you take the wrong medicine, it will create another impact. It will not work against the particular pathogen which are actually impacted, and that pathogen may come into more Bahubali or superbug. Because the more excessive exposure of these medicines make that antibiotic to survive more. Like there is a famous example with respect to GHMC. In Hyderabad, there is a famous example. DDT is used to kill mosquitoes. But a situation has emerged where the mosquitoes are feeding on the DDT as food. It's dinner and breakfast for them. They have developed resistance against the DDT. Still, municipal corporations are using the same DDT to control those mosquitoes. So the mosquitoes has developed resistance. In the same manner, when we use overusage of drugs, all these pathogens will develop resistance. Okay, so another important reason is a kind of nexus between doctors and pharmaceutical companies. So these pharmaceutical companies will ask the doctors to prescribe more medicines, more profit will come to the pharmaceutical company, more incentive to the doctors. So they are pushing the doctors to prescribe more medicines, unnecessary medicines. So because of that overusage of these things, these whole, not only one particular, not only whether E. coli, not only TB, many pathogens are becoming more dangerous. So that is another reason. Another important reason for development of antimicrobial resistance is wrong diagnosis. Suppose a person he does not have TB, but the medical report came as TB, that he is infected by TB. Medication is started, which is dangerous. Whatever bacteria, see, human body is full of varieties of bacteria, good bacteria and bad bacteria. Now you expose to unnecessary medicines, they will turn dangerous. Whatever external things are there, they will turn dangerous. So wrong diagnosis, especially in the case of TB, a lot of wrong diagnosis is being done because previously skin tests used to be there. Blood tests are also giving wrong results sometimes. Sputum based, because sputum means the person has to observe it in the lab. That sputum based test is the actual prescribed, but that is not done, unfortunately. So wrong diagnosis is one of the factors. Like this, in many things, it is happening. Another important reason is discontinuation of medication. Discontinuation of medicines. Discontinuation of medicines means that generally these antibiotics or all these things are prescribed as a course, 5 days, 3 days, 6 months in some dangerous diseases also, few weeks to 4 months also. But if you take the medications for few weeks, what will happen is symptoms will not be there. So the person who has been prescribed for more days, he feels as if he's cured and he stopped medication because these medicines are costly. If not costly, also they have a lot of side effects. Weakness will come. A lot of issues are there by these medicines. So the person, if the symptoms are not there, he stops taking medicine, discontinues. If it is discontinued, the pathogen didn't die completely in the body. It will come back. It is reviving. Doctors prescribe 6 months course or 3 days or 5 days, but considering many examples by scientific study, but you stop taking one day or whatever is the prescribed, you didn't take the same thing. Now, whatever existing is there, that will become more powerful now. So all these are the various important things which is happening. And one of the important things is climate change also. How climate change is related to cause of antimicrobial resistance, because as temperatures are increasing, these pathogens are turning more active. They are becoming more dangerous. More infections are being getting, and more people are getting affected by these more infections. More medicines they will use, more antibiotic resistance will come. So apart from the things, patients not taking antibiotics as prescribed, you will use your own self-medication. One other important reason is with respect to poultry industry. Not only poultry industry, fisheries industry, livestock industry. So vegetarians and non-vegetarians both are in danger, actually. Unnecessary because why antibiotics are being used in these industries is, see, that is also life in poultry industry. If a person is not affected by, suppose like a person in poultry industry also, there are these chicken and all these things, they will be exposed to lot of bacteria. We have our own bacteria which are danger for them. All other organisms have different type of pathogens, right? So if that particular animal or poultry, chicken is not getting, hen is not getting affected by all these diseases, it will grow faster. So in order to limit the infections, what they do is they use more antibiotics. If the animal didn't get, whether it is in cattle or industry, whether it is in fisheries industry, if these didn't get infections, what will happen? They will grow faster. So more advantages for them, more faster they can be sold. That's the reason they are using more antibiotics so that infections can be stopped. There also antibiotic resistance is getting transferred, whether it is non-vegetarian or it is vegetarian through cattle industry, milk and meat products. So poor infectious condition, other condition is, apart from the things which I listed, this diagram also talks about other reasons. Poor infection control in hospitals, lack of sanitation, hospital acquired infections is also dangerous. Poor sanitation within home, outside home, in the whole environment, lack of proper tests or rapid tests, which has to be done immediately to understand what is being infection is being caused. So these are the various causes of antibiotics resistance. Okay, right. And in environmental pollution also very important cause. How environmental pollution is a very important cause is nicely depicted here. If there is environmental pollution, that also will result into antibiotic resistance. See, many things like whether from cattle industry, fish industry, all these things, we are dumping all these chemicals into the environment. The environment itself will have lot of pathogens. Environment itself will have lot of pathogens. When we are getting exposed by chemicals, environment pollution contains a lot of dangerous chemicals. So when these chemicals are being thrown on these pathogens, the pathogens will try to survive from these dangerous chemicals. So how they will survive? They will turn into superbugs, which affects human beings and causes the danger. So see, from waste treatment plant, from pharmaceutical companies, from healthcare facilities, from food processing industries, poultry, all the things are being dumped into the environment without proper care, resulting into superbugs creation of varieties of pathogens. So let us take a case study. Let us take a case study with respect to TB. Tuberculosis is caused by a bacterium. Yes or no? As of now, ordinary TB is completely curable, not in like 1950s or 60s. As of now, TB is completely curable. Infectious diseases, communicable diseases spread from person to person. Now, what is happening is, initially we have BCG vaccine. This vaccine will not protect completely for all people. It is only for childhood TB. Childhood TB is prevented through BCG vaccination. This vaccination is given in our India's immunization program also. But this is only for childhood TB. So it is not for prevention of all the adults. So in spite of having vaccines, in spite of, as of now, ordinary TB vaccine, childhood vaccine, and there is a treatment, DOTS treatment protocol is there, Directory of Observable Treatment Short Course. This treatment is devised by WHO. World Health Organization has given this long back itself. In 1997 itself, we launched this DOTS program, right? And we changed our strategy, RNTCP, Revised National TB Control Program, Revised National TB Control Program. So we did things almost more than 2 decades before. We have a complete cure for ordinary TB. Don't take me wrong. For normal TB infection, completely curable if proper precautions are taken, if proper nutrition is taken. But look at the scenario now. What is happening in TB is, because of antibiotic, this is a bacteria, because of antibiotic resistance, drug resistance TB is being developed. Drug resistance TB, where MDR TB is one such example. Multiple drug resistance TB. First line of drugs are not working on these things. Not only that, picture abhi baki hai. We have XDR TB, extreme drug resistance TB, where there is no single drug. People will do trial and error basis. If a person is affected with XDR TB, there's no exact cure. Doctors will use just trial and error things. He may survive, he may not survive, depending on his own immunity. So these are the factors, drug resistance. Look at the ordinary TB, which initially we controlled it very successfully, is turning into drug resistance TB. This danger can be there in many communicable diseases. That's the problem posed by antimicrobial resistance. Now, after completing the horrific or dangerous zone in which this drug resistance is being developed, how to control it? How to control it is the issue. Now, I think eraser is there, but this line is not going. Fine. It's okay. I think it's visible. Please try to, yeah. How can we prevent antimicrobial resistance? That is the thing. What are the causes we saw? Till now, we saw the causes. Now, what are the preventive measures? WHO, World Health Organization, has given standard protocols. It has given we should not use random things for different diseases. So that is one point. Second point, there is a Chennai declaration with respect to India. This antimicrobial resistance has to be controlled. In Chennai, they have made up and given Chennai declaration. And 6 months course should be given to all the nurses, doctors, and all those things, so that they will not prescribe these medicines unnecessarily. So it's a mutual understanding. So because if one gets affected, it affects the whole society. Over-the-counter sale of drugs should be minimized. You have red line campaign. Okay, so whatever medicines are there on the markings, if antibiotics medicines are there on the back of the medicine strip, a red line will be there. These medicines, if has to be sold, they have to be sold only with prescription. Otherwise, it is against law. Prescription-based drugs, it will come in the packaging itself. A red line will be given if you observe in some of the powerful antibiotics. Then comes reduce unnecessary use of antibiotics by people, not only in day-to-day medicines, in agriculture, in poultry, in industry, in livestock, in all these things. Okay, and we have to proper better hygiene, clean water, and infection control. All these measures has to be taken care of. Surveillance of superbugs. Whenever the superbugs are getting developed in the nature, more surveillance has to be developed. We have to identify them initially. Don't neglect those things. So the governments have to invest in surveillance mechanism. Diagnostic improvements you have to do. Wrong diagnostic should not be done. And we have to look at vaccines, not only vaccines, alternative therapies. We have to look at alternative therapies also, like traditional health systems, which are not based on these antibiotics, but which can strengthen the immune system. That is in much more development, especially after COVID. So these are the things which can be done to address the problem of antimicrobial resistance. So some of the things are depicted here, which we already explained. New antibiotics, there is more need for investment in R&D, proper waste management, solid waste management. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan has very good role in controlling this. International cooperation should also be there. As I said, surveillance network, vaccines, awareness, and infection prevention. First thing is infection prevention. We should not be prone to these infections. So these are the things which has to be focused. Now, India has its own program, national program on containment of antimicrobial resistance. We have, this is a national program by Government of India. Broad objectives are there. Basically, they are going to focus. What are the objectives of this national program is they are strengthening the surveillance things, data, quality data. We are very weak in many aspects of data, whether it is migration data in all aspects, not only in health, economic data, employment data, all these things has to be strengthened. Similarly, data should be there with respect to AMR, infection control guidelines, standardization should be there. Rational use of antibiotics. The problem is not with antibiotics. See, antibiotics, as I said, was being used from 1930s. But from the last 20 years only, this problem of antimicrobial resistance is increasing. Why this is coming like? Because overuses. Anything in excess is danger. And that is the problem. So misuse should be prevented. Prescription pattern, identify the prescription, collect the ways in which the doctors are prescribing, and establish a monitoring system. So these are the main functional areas under this national program on containment of antimicrobial resistance. So this is the question we can note down here. This is the question which you can look into. Discuss the causes of increasing antibiotic. Please note down this question and try to work it out. Discuss the causes of increasing antibiotic resistance in recent times. Suggest corrective measures required to address this issue. Suggest corrective measures required to address this issue. Right. Fine. So this directly from the causes we saw. Try to introduce what is antibiotic resistance. Try to address about the causes and suggest way forward corrective measures which we can be taken. Okay, I think with the help of the presentation, you can write this answer. You can add also 1 or 2 points always. No issue about it. Then let's come to the second topic. Why are electric vehicles catching the fire? So recently you have seen all these images. Some are quite, unfortunate. See, look at it. A lot of fire is coming. Smoke is coming. I want to observe this thing. Gas is also coming. People died because of suffocation also. So why these things are happening? That is the question which we have to look into. Why these things are happening. So importance of electric vehicles. Before going into the actual reasons of this, let's see why we have to focus first on electrical vehicles. Why electrical vehicles is going to be the next big thing. That's some importance we are going to see now. So importance of electric vehicles, climate change is happening, temperatures are rising, they are becoming more erratic. Yes or no? In order to change it, one of the reasons for, we have to differentiate between climate change and global warming. See, they are used alternatively, no issue, but there is a small difference. Climate change can happen naturally also. There are natural factors for climate change also. Climate is just a broad term. Why climate is changing? There are many natural factors also, like alignment of the Earth, the magnetic North Pole, South Pole of the Earth. So there are many things which are affecting climate change naturally. Ice age also you might have heard. What is ice age? We are actually in interglaciation period in between two ice ages. So that is temperature changes. So global warming is generally referred to anthropogenic. How why humans see climate change is a natural phenomenon. But what is happening now? The temperatures are increasing because of human activities, which is called as anthropogenic activities. The main reason for it is using of fossil fuels, which will release carbon dioxide, major factor for causing global warming effect. It is heating the earth. Average temperatures on the earth are increasing, right? So climate change is becoming, we are getting erratic, more cyclones are coming, more droughts are coming, uncertain rainfalls are coming. All these things are causing this phenomena. So we need to control it. One solution is coming in terms of using zero emissions, electric vehicles, right? Second thing is in Indian context, especially, see most of things, let us talk in Indian context. So in crude oil imports, India is importing a lot of burden is there because we don't have enough resources of oil and natural gas. Around 8 lakh crore rupees is being spent on oil imports by India. So that's a very huge burden on our Indian economy. Fossil fuels, they are emitting, as I told, carbon dioxide and all these gases emissions. Environmental depletion is happening, pollution causing a lot of threat to biodiversity also. Many species are becoming extinct because of this. And we have a zero emission, no emission goal. India has a no emission goal by 2070. So when all these things, and there is a short-term goal also for electric vehicles, 80% of three-wheelers, buses, and all those things, at least 30%, 40% of buses, 30% of cars. So more focus is being there on two-wheelers by 2030. So that is our targets which we have kept. This is the important, that's the reason it is becoming more important to focus on electric vehicles. Now, electric vehicles is based on another, see, the battery technology we'll see in a very brief manner. What aided the development of electric vehicles is cost of lithium-ion batteries. These lithium-ion batteries are used in electric vehicles. This has very high storage capacity. Even the cell phones which you use, they are using lithium-ion battery. They can discharge a lot of energy. So that is the thing. So it has its own advantages, lithium-ion batteries. So this cost of these things decreased in the last decade. Is a very rapid reduction because it's all about demand and supply, manufacturing capabilities, and all those things. So lithium-ion battery cost got decreased, which resulted, which helped the more development of electrical vehicles also. Relatively, it's still higher, but when compared to the last decade, the cost of lithium-ion batteries are very less. So that's the reason these electric vehicles are being now thought of as replacement to petrol vehicles. You know, price rise, oil price is rising constantly. That's a very big issue, politically and economically also. So one more reason for increasing demand for EVs is this petrol, this price burden is very high. That's the reason people are shifting towards electrical vehicles. When demand is higher, economies of scale will come into picture. So costs are also becoming reasonable relatively, but much more should be done, no doubt about it. Now governments are providing a lot of incentives. They're focusing on electrical vehicles. They are giving subsidies, taxation things, many varieties of incentives they are giving. Taxation, cess charges are being removed. GST is only 5% in India. They reduced it from 18%, 12%, 5% they have reduced. So private industry is also focusing for capturing the market. A lot of innovations, new startups are coming into the picture. Okay, so all the things, whether it is vehicle manufacturing companies or whether it is battery manufacturing or it is material supplies, electronic circuitry, there is an ecosystem which is being developed, which is aiding the growth of electric vehicles. Now, coming back to our original question, these are powered by lithium-ion batteries. Generally, were efficient, relatively more light also, but they themselves pose a fire risk. They have a risk. You might have heard about incidents where a person is charging his mobile phone and it is talking while the mobile phone is charging in burst because it is also having lithium-ion battery. So lithium-ion batteries inherently have a risk of excess discharge. That is there. Rapidly, they will release the energy, resulting into danger. fire risk is there. That is one of the limitations with respect to lithium-ion batteries. Does it mean that every battery is in danger? Then why the burnings are happening now? That is the issue now. Why so much of burnings are happening now? If we look at this, the complex technology which we have, lithium-ion battery is a very complex technology. Lithium-ion battery is a very complex technology. It's a high, that's the reason more it took a lot of time to develop these things. It has, generally any battery has anode, cathode, positive and negative. In between, you will have a electrolyte. Electrolyte is a medium. Electrolyte. Okay, if for lithium-ion battery, so lot of these type of cells will be there in every car or two-wheeler. So generally, anode will be graphite. This can be a prelims question. What are being used as cathode or anode? If they don't want to go more technical, they may simply go for what type of metals are generally used. Okay. So cathode is, anode is generally graphite. Cathode is nickel, cobalt. These are the materials they use. Electrolyte, the joining kind of thing. In lithium-ion, in the present lithium-ion barley, it is a liquid. We have a liquid electrolyte in lithium-ion body, which is posing a danger. It is more prone to fire risks. So that is one of the reasons in the complexity of lithium-ion batteries. Okay, so there are many other factors also causing the fires. Shorting can happen, accidental shorts. Thermal switches are not there. They will generally turn off, like a fuse in our homes. If something is happening, automatically MCB will go off. So such kind of mechanisms are there initially. But if they fail also, these lithium-ion batteries are prone to risks. Okay, and temperature is a very important parameter. Temperature has to be controlled very importantly. If the changing temperatures has a severe effect on discharge potential of the lithium-ion batteries. So overheating of mobile phones, like you see, the same thing is happening in the case of electric vehicles, causing dangers. Now, generally, the fire risk in batteries is because of these things: heat, oxygen, and fuel. More heat is generated. That may be because of short circuit. Liquid electrolyte and oxygen is there as a combustion thing in the atmosphere. Fuel, liquid electrolyte. So all these things are causing very danger. And among this, apart from the fuel, cathodes, the materials used for cathodes in the, like I said previously, this cathode part, these materials are also prone to more burning risk. So these are the factors which are causing more danger. Look at the dangers associated with lithium-ion batteries. There can be mechanical things, electrical things, deformation and piercing and all these things, short circuit, thermal. Because of heat, this thermal factor is the main factor which is causing this burning of electric vehicles. This is among all the three, this is the main factor. And once a small thing is there, generally these batteries, lithium-ion batteries are packed with many cells. If one cell starts this, it will start like a chain reaction. Smoke will come, more heat will be generated, which will further aid the risk of other battery cells in the same pack, resulting into a chain reaction, giving more dangerous results. Okay, so as I said, thermal runaway is the most important things. Short circuit, all these things are anyway there, but thermal temperature is the main things. So, but why this is happening? In order to quickly understand why this is happening, because especially in two-wheelers, you see, majority of the things are happening in two-wheelers, because in four-wheelers, we have a battery management system. So whenever something goes wrong, there are many ways in which it can go wrong, as we saw before. Battery management system will completely turn off the things, and there is a cooling system also. There has to be cooling system also. Immediately control the temperature of the overheating things. A cooling system should be there. Battery management system, which will completely monitor through sensors and all those remedial measures. All this cooling system and battery management system is missing in two-wheelers, because these things are bulky and they are costly also. Already electrical vehicles cost is more. That's the reason there is a safety risk taken by the industry. They are not doing these things in a proper manner. which is causing this electrical vehicle. That's the reason most of the things are seen in two-wheelers in recent burnings, which will have. It can happen in, as I said, there are many risks with respect to lithium ion battery. It can happen in four-wheelers also, but they have some at least limited way of safety precautions, which is not maintained in two-wheelers, causing more risk of exposure to danger. Okay, the same things I have explained in these things. Okay, cooling system is there. These solutions are expensive. That's the reason two-wheelers are being more exposed. So, gist of the story is why electrical vehicles are there. Yes, no doubt. So, should we stop electrical vehicles? No. There are issues which we have to address. Safety issues is there. There is a recalling of these things. Safety should be priority. Cost has to come down later also. So, but safety should be more important. So, people are looking at these things. Another important development to address is rather than a liquid electrolyte, they are trying to go for a solid state battery. Liquid electrolyte is increasing the risk of burning. So they are now going for solid state battery. This is being developed in order to reduce the risk of this burning in lithium ion batteries. So apart from this one episode of one issue of electrical vehicles catching fire, we can look at generally also, like problems faced with, like a question is given today for answer writing practice on your own, problems with electrical vehicles in India. So what are the problems, challenges, which are still limiting in spite of incentives, in spite of tax? The government has given a lot of things actually. The government has given many supporting mechanisms like, see if you see, many supporting mechanisms like tax exemptions they have given. Okay, performance, production linked incentives are there for the manufacturing companies. So they put more produce they do on electrical vehicles, more subsidies and incentives will come. And we have FAME standard scheme is there, FAME phase 1, FAME phase 2. Many things are there. GST exemptions are there. 5% is there. No cess is there on this electric vehicles. Then you have battery swapping policy. Battery swapping policy. Battery swapping policy. Battery swapping policy means, see, anyway, it is the same battery in your particular vehicle. So every time it is just discharged, you are on the highway, every time it's just discharged, why you can't wait and get it charged? Like the same amount of battery, the charging station will have a stock of charged batteries. So swapping policy they have done. Just keep your discharged battery and take charged battery. So such policies they have announced. So many things they are doing. They have given targets for oil marketing companies. Oil marketing companies also they have taken into consideration where they are going to build around 22,000 electrical vehicle charging stations are being installed by the same oil marketing companies. So it's a kind of making them to work for climate change. So in the future, if petrol and all this goes away, next comes this electrical vehicle charging stations only, no? So they are preparing these oil marketing companies to install these charging stations throughout the country. So these many things are being done by the government. Still, what are the challenges we have? That is the thing which we have to address. Many challenges are there. Some of the things are highlighted. Expensive. The battery is expensive, and the efficiency, the life of the battery has to replaced after 6 to 7 years, further adding to the cost. Okay, that is the issue. We have normal diesel vehicle, electrical vehicles for 15 to 15 years, more than 15 years also. Of course, pollution issue is there, but still they are running for 15 years easily. So 6 to 7 years again is a danger, that too with high cost. So that is one of the challenge we have. Second thing is pure infrastructure. Charging stations is not there. Not only in charging stations, within home also, varieties of standards you have to use. Supply of electricity at the correct point, all these things, infrastructure with respect to electrical vehicles, range, kilometers, how many kilometers I can go using these vehicles. Every time the charging is, petrol is highly penetrated. These fossil fuels are penetrated. That may not be the case with respect to electrical vehicles. So range is an issue. More than 100 kilometers itself is a very big challenge. Lack of standardization. Different startups are coming. Different companies are coming. Their ports, starting from simple things like electricity charging ports to standard infrastructure. There are many huge issues with respect to this. Then you have temperature issues. is within India. India is highly diverse, fantastically. We have cold, low temperature regions. We have hot temperature regions. Performance of the battery will vary according to these temperatures. That is another danger which we have. It may not function in all diverse temperatures. So you went for a tourism trip, nice trip. You went from South India to North India. Somehow you managed with these batteries, but their temperatures changed, creating very high performance issues with your electric vehicle. Skills, lack of skills, battery maintenance management system, battery maintenance things. There are many mechanical things or this garages which are now. That is not the case with respect to electrical vehicles. And people are not skilled also. That skill, human resources deficit is there. Even today, internal combustion engines, IC engines, are performing very well relatively with respect to battery vehicles. That is the thing. Electricity demand, coal shortages is there, unfortunately. Listen, it is artificial shortage, unfortunately, but still demand of electricity is increasing a lot. Now you are again pulling EVs. That is itself, though we have to peak that. That's a challenge. Even we are not saying that these are not crossable. These are not huge barriers. These are the issues which are still there. That is what is being highlighted. Environmental concerns. This is a final blow. How EVs are going to cause environmental concerns? They are being portrayed as a solution to environmental problems, right? How they are going to pose a problem to environmental? Yes, there is, unfortunately. How is? Look at this picture. What is happening here is this electrical vehicle is being charged. This is the charging point, but this is being charged from a diesel generator. This will use fossil fuel. Fossil fuels are being used because renewable energy constraints are there. We are using anyway fossil fuels to produce this electricity or battery charging and use it again in the electric vehicle. Most of the things are happening in this manner, unfortunately. Pure form of this green energy, exactly, that is not used. The fossil fuels are using to recharge. See, whatever electricity we are getting, if you use the same electricity, like let us say thermal power stations, coal is a major thing. We are getting electricity from thermal power stations. Okay, in Indian context, thermal power stations is going to have a big role in the near future because of various reasons, oil imports and all these things. These thermal power stations, fossil fuels generate electricity. The same electricity we are using to charge electric vehicle. What's the point? Anyway, the primary source is fossil, na? And there is a all this change. There is a lack of loss of energy and less efficiency also. Okay, so the source of energy also should come from renewable. Then only electric vehicles will be completely successful. Okay, so these are the challenges which we have even today. So as I highlighted, so I think these points will help us. These are the measures which I described here and the challenges here. This will help you to write the second question also, or the thing which we already posted before. Okay, so that's it.